Guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are here to talk about the brand new foundation by IT Cosmetics. So if that is something you're interested in watching, you're in the right place. We are about to get into it.
I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
So IT Cosmetics has come out with a brand new foundation. Now, the IT Cosmetics Confidence line has actually been out for quite a while. For those of you that already are familiar with some of the Confidence products, they are the Confidence in a Compact, Confidence in an Eye Cream, Confidence in a Cleanser, Confidence in a Cream. There are a lot of Confidence products already existing in the line, but they were lacking one product in particular, and that was foundation. So now we have the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Foundation. That is the product that IT Cosmetics has launched. There are a lot of things to talk about with this particular formula, but we're going to start with the packaging. So let's take a look at the component up close so you guys can see what this looks like. So it's basically a standard frosted glass bottle. It is 1 full fluid ounce of product, very standard. I will say it's not often that you see these mid-range lines of makeup in a frosted glass bottle. Typically you see that hard plastic acrylic container or a plastic squeezy tube. Usually the frosted glass is reserved for those higher end type of foundations, but it is in this foundation and I actually like it. I think it's very sleek and chic. I love this thin oval shape. I think it just looks nice and is very aesthetically pleasing. So I actually really like the component and I like the pump itself as well. So overall, I think it's a packaging win. I think it's very cute. Now when it comes to shade range, IT Cosmetics came out with a bang with this particular launch. They did launch this foundation with 50 shades, and that has not always been the case with IT Cosmetics. They've faced a lot of backlash from the beauty community for not being incredibly inclusive, especially when it comes to these types of foundation that IT Cosmetics is really kind of known for. These kind of foundations were usually very limited when it came to the shade range, and they received quite a bit of backlash specifically with this launch. The oil-free matte Your Skin But Better CC foundation, the shade range was a little limited and it wasn't as inclusive as shade ranges tend to be nowadays, and I think this was a really thoughtful effort by IT Cosmetics. I've taken a look at the actual shade range itself and it seems to be a really good spread of colors, undertones, and categories. A lot of brands nowadays I think will just launch 100 shades of foundation and they're not very thoughtful. You see a lot of kind of funky undertones and a lot of weird kind of things going on. You still see a very weighted scale when it comes to rich and deep dark shades versus medium to light shades. So just because a company comes out with an exorbitant number of foundations doesn't always mean that it's a thoughtful process. And I think that the shade range here is actually really nicely rounded. So I do think everybody will be able to find a shade in these 50 that IT Cosmetics has come out with this particular foundation. Now I got 2 shades because I wasn't really sure what shade was going to match me. So I got light natural and I got medium, and I'm going to show you guys what those two are look like swatched out here in case you're thinking about purchasing them in the future. I just want you to be able to see what these two particular colors look like. So the one thing that I will say is that these run a little lighter than I expected them to. The light natural I purchased, and then again I also purchased the medium. Both of these have a neutral undertone. The medium was just a little too pinky for me, so I actually ended up wearing the light natural. But again, I would absolutely encourage you to actually go into a Sephora or go into an Ulta and swatch this particular foundation to find your shade match, because if you own one of these, for example, I have neutral medium, and the medium with the neutral undertone in this foundation was not a good match for me. So don't make your choice based on this and think it's going to translate into the new foundation, because it doesn't. So I would absolutely suggest that you go in and actually swatch the product, because again, I think they do run a little lighter than the other types of foundations that It Cosmetics offers. Alright, so now let's talk about ingredients. Now, you guys know that I do a lot of due diligence, I do a lot of research, and I do a deep dive into products before I bring them to you guys. Particularly when it's a brand new product that's brand new to the market. I like to do my research, and we did uncover a couple of things through this process that I am going to share with you. But first, let's just talk about the actual ingredients list for this foundation. Genuinely, you guys, this ingredients list is like a skin treatment in a foundation. The ingredients list, you really have to see to believe. I would encourage anybody to log on to Ulta or Sephora or itcosmetics.com and just look at the ingredients list. It really is stunning. This ingredients list is infused with ceramides. It has a lot of peptides, hydrolyzed collagen, hyaluronic acid, squalene, my favorite ingredient. So, you know they got me there. It has niacinamide. It has licorice root extract, which is great for brightening the skin. You guys, the ingredients list in this foundation is unbelievable. But that is pretty standard for It Cosmetics. They really are skin focused when it comes to their products. Most of their products are really infused with good for you ingredients. Their powders, their concealers, everything that It Cosmetics produces is done very smart from an ingredients perspective. Usually their ingredients lists are works of art, and this is no exception. It really is nice to see. Having said that, you guys know me, and after doing this for 2 years now, there are certain things that will set off warning flashes for me when I am researching a new product to bring to you guys. One of those things is when I see a label on the side of the box and you see a warning label on a foundation box, which I thought was interesting. And I'll show you the warning label here. It actually says, warning, this product contains fish-derived protein. And I thought, well, that's interesting, because a lot of the products we have in our vanities contain a fish-derived protein. It's called collagen. There's a lot of marine collagen in our products out here. They call it marine hydrolyzed collagen. It's in a lot of cosmetics, and I kind of see where they're coming from, because in this day of, is this formula vegan? Is this formula cruelty free? There is a need for brands to be transparent, because there are people that genuinely only want to use a vegan formula out there, so I get it. So initially, It Cosmetics decided to go with a marine-based hydrolyzed collagen, which is a byproduct of fish. And I think they've changed their mind. And I think that's why we are seeing the stickers on here. Let me read you the statement from It Cosmetics. The initial production of Confidence in a Foundation incorporated a slightly higher concentration of a marine hydrolyzed collagen, a fish-derived byproduct, than subsequent production runs. So their very first production run included the fish byproduct collagen. And subsequent production runs is either not going to include it, or it's going to be in a significantly decreased amount. It Cosmetics has labeled the limited number of the initial units that are affected with the higher dose of marine hydrolyzed collagen with a warning, so users who may be sensitive to these types of ingredients can make an informed buying decision. So they're either going to eliminate it altogether, or they're going to put it in a very small amount and probably substitute it with a plant-based collagen, which quite frankly isn't as effective, but it is more, user-friendly. Now, I have done a lot of research on marine hydrolyzed collagen itself, and is it harmful in high doses? And no, the answer to that is no. It's actually incredibly good when you ingest it for hair and nail growth. It's really super good for anything that has to do with joints, and applied topically, you know, it's that same old debate out there about any collagen applied topically. Some people say it's very effective. Some people say it's not that effective. You know, so it's whether or not you think applying collagen topically to the skin is effective. I tend to land in the camp that it's effective because it's encouraging your cells on the surface of your skin to start producing collagen. And so I think I like it as a stimulant. But that's just my personal opinion on collagen. But as far as the ingredient itself being in even if it's in a ridiculously high concentrated amount, it's not anything that's going to affect you in a negative way, obviously, or they wouldn't put it out on the shelf. But having said that, there are going to be people out there that do not want any kind of animal byproduct on their face. And I have a feeling that if they made that decision like across the board, they would probably be super surprised at how many products they have where cosmetic companies aren't necessarily disclosing that that's what's in there, but that's what's in there. Everything from skincare to lipstick to eyeshadow, mascara, you name it. There's usually byproduct in a lot of stuff unless it is specifically labeled vegan. Nowadays, you can actually find a lot of products out there that are specifically labeled vegan because now there is a niche market for it. There is a lot of consumers out there that demand a vegan product, and I think IT Cosmetics kind of recognized that. I think they just recognized it a little late, which means they probably got some feedback from an early test group that they did their first initial run with that said, you know what, it would be really nice if you guys could say that this formula was vegan. So the initial runs are going to have the fish-based collagen in it, and I would say subsequent runs after this will probably have no fish collagen in it or a significantly reduced amount of it in it. So if it is important to you, then what I would recommend that you do is just keep your eye on it. It'll be on shelves in Ulta and Sephora. And if you ever see this little sticker on here, then you'll know that this is one that has a higher amount of the collagen in it. And if this little sticker isn't on here, then you'll have a batch that doesn't. So there's that. You know, it's so funny when we do this research. I am always surprised at the rabbit trails that we go down. But aside from the marine hydrolyzed collagen, well, you know, including that, it really is a beautiful ingredients list. I think they did a really good job when it comes to ingredients. Most of the ingredients that are in this foundation are purposeful ingredients. They're not just ingredients that are thrown in there to make an ingredients list look good. They are ingredients that work really, really well together and make a very effective product for the skin. So I actually really do like the ingredients list for this foundation, but none of that matters if it doesn't wear well. So let's take a look at performance. I'm going to show you guys application here just so you can see what the coverage looks like and what application looks like. Now, as far as application is concerned, the product actually goes on fairly well. I did work in lighter layers with this because it is a little bit of a thicker formula. And again, it's one of those types of deals where less is more. Do like, you know, one thin layer and then add coverage as needed. Now, they are classifying this as a long-wearing, flawless-looking velvet matte finish foundation that's supposed to give you all-day confidence every time you wear it. They are also claiming that in addition to this being a velvet matte finished foundation that it's going to give you 24 hours of hydration and 24 hours of wear. It is an oil-free formula, so there is no oil in this, so it's going to be really good for oily girls, and it's going to be really good for people with sensitive skin as well. They do say that it feels weightless on the skin. I can vouch for that. It doesn't feel heavy on the skin at all. So it does feel very nice on the skin as you're applying it. They call it a full coverage foundation. I do think it is a full coverage foundation. I would classify it as a full coverage foundation, but I would classify it more as like, you know, in my head, you have that low full coverage, that medium full coverage, and that like full coverage. This is more on like the medium type of full coverage. It is buildable up to a certain point. With this particular formula, because it is a little bit thicker, you can build it to a point where it's going to start getting like a little funky on you. So don't build it with too many layers. I would say 1, 2, at 2 I would nix it. I wouldn't go in with any more than 2 layers, and you should really need to. It does give you a really beautiful finish on the face, and it does provide some pretty decent coverage. I actually have it on tonight. I always wear the foundation that I'm reviewing in the video. You guys know that. I always end up saying, I have it on my face tonight. And I've worn this all day, and the coverage is good. The one thing I can say about the wear of this foundation is that it feels like it almost kind of moves with you. So you know a lot of times how matte foundations will dry down onto the skin, and you can start seeing like some cracking going on in your smile lines. It'll crack up here on your forehead lines, and it just starts to really kind of get a little dry towards the end of the day. This doesn't really do that. You can feel that the hydration in the formula working for you as your day progresses. One of the things I actually noticed in putting the foundation on, which I thought was interesting, is that you actually have a little bit of a glow when you put this foundation on. And that glow, I don't know, they call it a velvet matte finish. To me, it has more of this really healthy kind of glow finish to it. So I thought that was interesting. Now, of course, once I powdered my face a little bit and it had a chance to really sink into the skin, then you get more of that kind of natural matte look to the foundation, but I wouldn't call it a velvet matte. When I think of a velvet matte, I think of like a matte foundation, and this isn't that. This is more of like a natural matte foundation, which I actually like. Now, do I feel like it's hydrating my skin? I don't feel like it's overly hydrating my skin. I feel like it's more like preventing my skin from drying out as the day progresses as a result of the foundation, which is great. I love that. And obviously I love the fact that it's treating my skin as well. But I do like the coverage. I think it's very natural. I think it is got a lot of pigment in it, so you do get a good amount of coverage out of it. And it's a very comfortable formula. It wears, it wore all day long for me. It did start to break down around that 12-hour mark towards the end of the day. You can start seeing it kind of fade away on your forehead. For me, it's where I produce the most oil. Forehead, nose, chin. That's where I start seeing it wearing off a little bit as the day progressed. But again, all the way up to the 12-hour mark, it really did look good. I didn't wear this for 24 hours. I'm not going to wear it for 24 hours, but they do make a 24-hour claim with this foundation. So they're claiming that you can wear it for 24 hours. But for me, I started seeing breakdown right around that 11-12-hour mark. And again, that was just in the T-zone. Another thing I will comment about this foundation is that I did find that throughout the course of the day, I didn't have to touch up my face as much as I normally do. That was the only other thing that I really noted through the week that I tried this foundation out, is that I did write down less touch-ups. So I wasn't looking in the mirror and feeling like I needed to touch up throughout the course of the day. I did find myself looking in the mirror and being like, oh, you know what? It looks pretty good. So for the most part, it stays put. Less touch-ups, it's comfortable, it doesn't crack, it doesn't sink into fine lines and wrinkles. I like it. I think it's a fantastic foundation. Now, one thing I will say is, in doing all of my research and looking online, there are a lot of people that don't necessarily like this foundation, specifically on the actual IT Cosmetics website. There are a lot of people saying that they didn't really like the foundation, and that surprised me. There were actually some comments on here where people were saying that it was settling into their fine lines, and I think as soon as I saw the formula, I can understand why. If you put a lot of this on your skin because of the ingredients in here, it's not going to be a good thing. It is a thicker formula. So again, remember, less is more. Work in light layers. Put a light layer on and then build up in areas where you feel like you need extra coverage. I feel like if you just go in with like a full pump and just smear it all over your face, I think you are going to run into some of the issues that a lot of these people ran into, which is like the separation at the smile lines and things like that. Because with squalene and a lot of the other ingredients that are in this formula, if there's too much of that on the surface of the skin and it doesn't penetrate, and then you put powder on top of that, you are going to start seeing a little bit of some cakiness going on. So note to self, work in thin layers, allow that first layer to settle into the skin nice and good, go back and look and see where you need to build it up, and build it up there, and you should be fine. It worked beautifully for me all week long. I actually really like this, and I like the fact that it's almost like putting skincare on my face when I use it. So overall, you guys, Erica approved. I actually really like this foundation. Alright guys, so that is it. Let me know what you guys think about the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Foundation launch. Let me know what you guys think about the shade range. Let me know what you think about the ingredients. The price point itself really isn't that bad. I think it's at like $38 retail. So right there in that mid-range for IT Cosmetics. And again, this is available at Ulta, Sephora, and you can get it online at itcosmetics.com as well. So that's it, guys. Listen, if you are new here, welcome. I am so glad that you stopped by to hang out with us today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. And if you guys have any additional questions for me, feel free to reach out to me through DM on Instagram at Erica Approved, and I will be happy to get back to you guys. And don't forget that we have a giveaway going on. We do have an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette review coming up on the Rivera palette, and we'll go into a lot more detail in that video, but the giveaway is going to be for the brand new Anastasia palette. That giveaway is going to run between now and the 16th of March. We will be doing a live stream on my birthday to announce the winner. All you have to do is be a subscriber. When that video comes out for the palette, all you have to do is like the video and put somewhere in the comments how to get in touch with you in the event that you are the winner. You can also just send me a DM on Instagram and give me your contact information through there. If you don't want to put it publicly down in the comment section on YouTube, feel free to shoot me a DM and say, hey, just reach me here if I happen to win. You can do that as well. Either way, just make sure that you are subscribed. That is the big one. And that you like the Rivera palette review. Those are the two big ones, so just make sure you do those two things. Other than that, I hope you guys are all very happy and very healthy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Mwah.